Okay. Welcome everyone to a release one for 2026. I hope everyone, I haven't seen everyone, so I hope everyone had a good holiday, a good new year, and welcome back. We are full into the swing of things. I know we've been chatting with a lot of you about camp and tax receipts, so hopefully everyone's welcomed back was nice and easy, but we're gonna get started on the release presentation. As always, we are recording. If you have questions at any point, just raise your hand. It's the little hand icon at the bottom of your Google Meet. And we do have a Q&A, as always, at the end. We just ask that while I'm presenting, if you don't have any questions, you keep your mic on mute. I think we all are pretty comfortable with video calls at this point, but just some friendly reminders. All right, so today we are highlighting our new features. So this is a pretty feature-heavy release for us. So we did take a little longer just to get this working the way we expect it to. So we do anticipate this being available for you towards the end of the month, just with some of the new larger features, and we wanted to make sure that it's up to our standards. So a couple things to highlight. We have added the ability to sell multiple memberships in the menu. We have added the ability to select the days of the week that you wish to attend a program. We have created a brand new quick serve point of sale. We've done a bunch of receipt printing updates. We've added some permissions to control both payment method types and refund method types. We've updated your order and facility booking view on the account. We made some changes to continuous registrations, and then just our usual general couple bug fixes to make you aware of. I wanted to start just by highlighting Salesforce Spring should be in the majority of your environments. The last of you should get it this weekend. A couple key features for you to be aware of. You do have your own customized trust center now in your environment. This is a beta feature for Salesforce, so this is their first go at it. But if you ever have to question like, oh, is Salesforce down? When am I getting a release rolled out? We obviously kind of keep an eye on that from our end, but if you would like to do that, you now have access nice and easy in your actual environment without having to go out to the Salesforce page. We've also got some new health check features. So there's an update in spring 26. If you don't remember, in the fall, we all had a nice little chat about making sure you're not installing apps that you're unaware of. So Salesforce is really digging into making sure you're secure. So the big thing with that is that MFA is going to be enforced. So just making sure you're compliant with that. You do have access into those new features as well. For my flow fans who like to create their own flows, you can kind of debug without having to kind of restart this time around, which is nice. You can do specific variables and kind of keep them between your debug runs. So that's a nice change. Lots of flow, like little enhancements that came out this release. And then reports and dashboards. Salesforce kind of defaulted some disclaimers when you emailed them or subscribed. You now have the option to create custom ones. So sometimes that's a nice thing if you're emailing towards like your C-level team, you want to add a little note or a disclaimer that this is only looking at this subset of data, you can add those as well. All right, and as always, review this presentation, review the features. We should have this available for Sandbox for you towards the end of the month. Test it out, give it a go, let us know if you have any feedback or questions, and then let us know when you're ready to go to production. All right, on to what everyone's excited about, all the new features. So the first one is a partnership we had with our friends at Calgary. So we have added the ability to sell multiple memberships in the Avocado menu. So how this works, we're using the current flow. Basically what we've done is we've added a button towards the bottom that lets you create your membership and add another. When you click that, it's going to finalize that current membership order and redirect you back to the top of the page. You can then continue to add memberships, repeat as many times as needed. If you don't want to add another membership, clicking proceed to checkout will take you through the exact same current flow that we have. Once you've gone through all of those memberships, you do have the option to proceed to payments. This is going to now direct you to your outstanding payments screen, where you can make a payment across all of those membership orders that you've created. So this is controlled by our custom menu permissions. You do have the ability to lock out these buttons. If you don't want to go ahead with this in your first kind of iteration, you maybe want some time. Speak to your account manager. We can set it up so that that button is locked down, so that you don't have to roll it out right away. Oh, my image didn't load. So the next one is days of the week. I'll make sure that loads after. But what we've done is we've given you the option to select the days of the week that you want to attend the program. So typically we see this largely being effective with childcare. Sometimes you have a child who attends Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You want to fill that Tuesday, Thursday spot as well. So this gives you the flexibility to do this. You do also have the ability to control your pricing with a price group based on the days of the week that someone is attending. And as well, you do have the option of setting the capacity per day. So with this one, two things to be mindful of. You still have your total capacity on your instance, but you can also set a per day capacity. So if I have 5 days of the week, I could technically have 50 spots total in the instance, but only 10 children are able to register for 1 day. I can't have more than 10 on Monday. You will see this updated for all UI when you're selecting days. So anything with attendance enabled in the menu or attendance determines billing, you will now have the option to select upcoming days. So if you only want to select Mondays, you only want to select Thursdays, instead of having to click 4 times down the calendar, you can just click once and select all your future Mondays. So how you set this up, it's pretty simple. It's a toggle to enable it. If you do try to enable it, you do have to have attendance. Obviously, we want the calendar picker. So you have to have attendance enabled. You will be forced into that with a validation rule. And then you do have the option to set your minimum and maximum days. If you don't set those values, the minimum by default is 1, and then the max would be the max number of days your instance is scheduled. So up to 7. I'm just going to see if I can get these images to reload. Go ahead, Dave.
You said you can use price groups for that. Can you do price groups by the number of days they're attending within a week?
Yep. Yeah. So it's a quantity-based price group.
Okay.
So you can basically set that so that, is this gonna work out with me? Yeah, there you go. You can basically set it on the price group. So either quantity based on if you had attendance determines billing enabled. Once you hit a certain quantity, you're eligible for this price. Or if your days in the week, if they go 2 days, they pay this rate. They go 4 days, they pay this rate. They go 5 days plus, they pay this rate.
Regardless of whether they actually show up or not.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. All right, our next one that we're pretty excited about is our new Quick Serve V1. So we heard you all that there was a lot of clicks to get some stuff done in the point of sale. So we've rolled out a quick service point of sale. With this, the goal is kind of you're hosting a gymnastics competition and you're going to do some canteen sales. You have an author night where you're going to just be selling books. The goal of this is kind of maybe I want to put it to an account. Maybe I just need to sell things as quick as possible. So you do have some flexibility with this. It's designed to process kind of those high volume transactions, and you're always remaining on that quick service point of sale page. So currently you have to go find the account, create the order, go into the order. This lives on the point of sale. So you can, I know, missed opportunity, Steve. Next time, V2 for sure. You live on the page of the point of sale. If you want to scan items, this does support barcode scanning. So we added that in a previous release where you can key in that barcode, scan it with your USB plugged in scanner. Additionally, we've given you the ability to scan membership barcodes as well. So if you want to track this to an account, instead of having to go and search and find the account, they can scan their barcode and it'll load the account on the point of sale. We do have some options for quick quantity, as well as you can key in a custom amount. This does use your current point of sale setup. So whatever kind of categories you have in it are pulled through to this, as well as it can just be turned on or off. So if you want to enable it, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to. You can continue to use the current one. There are a couple custom settings currently. We allow you to have an anonymous account for this. So if I don't have that member card scanned, track it all to this. If you do need to go refund, you can load the order through the current interface and refund that way. This first iteration is going to only support card present and cash payments. Again, we kind of did this as like a quick interactive, you're just at the counter buying something. And it does currently support price allow override. So if you do want to add like a product, like a donation, you do have the ability to change the price on that. Or if there's something else where you need some flexibility in your pricing. We do also have a V2 planned. So V2 plans are to support refunds, to add any adjustments, stuff that we currently support in the point of sale, and we'll add images. And for that one, Asim, I will have an avocado stuffy as the image for sure. Any questions about that point of sale? All right, carrying on. All right, and how good would a point of sale be if we were still printing 8x10 receipts? So we've given you the option to print an actual receipt on a receipt printer. So we've consolidated the information that was currently on the receipt into kind of a nicer, fits on a 3-inch sheet of paper instead of having the large receipt that we currently have. You do still have both. So if you do enable this receipt printer on your point of sale, it does print this one by default. You can still open the large one, and the large one is still emailed as an attachment to your clients. So you don't necessarily have to fully get rid of the large one if you want to look at it in an email. And then additionally, we added the company address to the top. So this is pulled from your Avocado Salesforce setup company information. We just started with one general organization address. I know there's requests to go to locations specifically, but we just pulled it so that it's a consolidated, the address is always pulling from that spot. You do also have the ability to turn on or off if you want to auto open the receipt. So I know currently right now when you go in the POS, you make a payment, receipt always pops up. Sometimes if you're just flying through transactions, you don't need that to open for every single one in print. You can turn that off now and then just print the receipt manually if you need it. And those are just controlled on the point of sale object. All right. We've added some additional permissions. We continue to flush out the Avocado menu permissions. So this one, again, with our friends at Calgary, helping us out with this one. We have added the ability to restrict what payment methods you are allowed to use on both the purchase and the refund. So they are separate, so you can potentially give someone the ability to take a check but not refund it to a check. You can split those out by profile. The biggest change to note for this one is previously manual allocation was controlled by having admin in your profile name. That is no longer the case. So if you do not currently have the custom menu permissions enabled in your environment, you're going to want to consider removing manually allocate from your point of sales and just adding it back in if you need to do the write-off. So currently we had it just for that one button. We've removed it in favor of a consolidated, all the permissions are controlled in the same spot. So just something to be mindful of if you don't have those custom menu permissions enabled. And then additionally, your payment has to be eligible on the point of sale. If you have manual reconciliation turned off on the point of sale, you give someone that permission, it's not going to magically allow them to be able to select that. Updated UI. We know a lot of you have booking partners. You have swim teams, hockey teams. whatever else you may have, where they are doing a high volume of bookings and a high volume of orders. So we've made some changes to kind of optimize, one, how that all loads within Avocado, and two, how it displays. So you'll see a new paginated view on both the facility booking and the order item when you load an account. We show usually about 10 each time, and then we continue to load them in the background as you're moving through those tabs. You'll see more and more loaded. This greatly speeds up the process of loading that account when you have a ton of bookings. As well as we've optimized just loading orders throughout multiple places in the Avocado menu. So if you have one of those really large orders, we've optimized loading it in the point of sale as well. So when you open that order, we've sped up the load time a bit there too. This is a UI change. Everyone gets it. It gets rolled out as part of the deployment. So if you want to update your documentation for your staff, this is what it will look like moving forward. And then the other final change we made to this is when you go to your account and you click on, it's kind of hard to see here, but manage facility bookings. When you click on that tab, it will now open with the current calendar year filtered by default. You can obviously change that to whatever filters you need, but we just did that to help load the volume on your initial page load. All right. Moving on to a couple more features. So we know a lot of you have moved on to doing more perpetual registrations. We see this a lot with gymnastics and swimming, where every 2 weeks, I'm charging the same person. They're just continuing to move through registrations. They're in it until they cancel. So we've added some support to just make this process a little friendlier. So what you'll see now is you have an option for a continuous checkbox on the instance. You can either set that when you create it via the instance uploader or manually in the backend. If you do create a series of instances and you do enable continuous, the last one will not have that set by default. So whatever I create a series of 12 instances, on my 12th instance, continuous will be false. Because the idea is that you're not continuing to roll over after the final instance. So what you'll see with this is changes to the registration flow. Instead of seeing an end date in the portal and the menu, you'll now see continuous. If you want something different for the portal, it is a language file, so you can choose your own adventure with that one, should you wish to. And then what you're going to see too is that we default create a rollover contract when this is set to true. So by default, we will pick every day of the week. We will set no end date. You can then edit the rollover contract if you want to remove days. But our assumption is usually when you have these instances, your child is coming every day that it's scheduled for or available. So we just took a step out for you having to create that, but gave you the flexibility to go back in and make the change if you need to. All right, and then a couple just quick bug fixes to be aware of. We fixed an issue in the Avocado portal in the programs list, where if you had a high volume of instances, the register button would sometimes appear even though the instance had filled. So that has since been resolved. We fixed an issue in the Avocado menu under My Memberships, where you would get a bit of a red UI select toast error when you loaded your memberships. That's also been resolved. We fixed an issue where program dependencies weren't always being upheld in the Avocado portal. We have optimized the ARGL summary for some of our clients who have very large accounts to make this load quicker and more efficiently. So we do have that change. Fixed an issue where program family discounts. So if I'm buying 6 hours of gymnastics, I get a certain discount. Wasn't working when attendance was enabled, but attendance determines billing was false. We fixed an issue where creating new users would default their locale to Canada and their language to English US. So as part of our deployment, we will be doing an update to everyone's locale. Previously, we didn't rely on locale. We kind of just defaulted our language, but a lot of you using the custom portal We are supporting locale for that. So if you are Canadian, you're seeing Canadian date formats. If you're Australian or US, you're seeing your date formats. So we're going to be doing this update across everyone's environment. Backend change should have very minimal impact to your customers, with the exception of they'll probably see the date the way they expected to if they weren't previously. And then finally, fixed an issue in the Avocado portal where reactivate hold would let you extend past what was set on your package. So if you had a max of 1 month, they could reactivate and extend past that length. So that has been resolved, and we added some language files while we did this. A lot of that text was hard-coded previously, so we gave you some more flexibility into what you would like to say in that modal. On our roadmap for the next couple months, we are obviously working on V2 of QuickServe. If you do choose to play around with it, we would obviously love your feedback, love any input you have, anything that's working, anything that you would like to see. We're working on adding support for person accounts. So if you are using Agentforce Nonprofit, getting that to flow seamlessly within the Avocado module and Agentforce Nonprofit. We're working on a multi-purchase discount, so like a buy two, get one free for instance registration largely, but applicable to some other spots as well. And we're currently working on developing support for a new Canadian card present processor. So we will have that shortly as well. That is all I have for today. Thank you everyone for coming. It's good to see everyone back. Obviously, if there's any questions, the floor is open, but if not, happy to give you back some time. And as always, Laura will get the recording sent out with some of the slides for you to review after.
Thank you, Rachel. Any questions?
Looks good, Rachel. Great work.
Thanks, Terry. No, Asim, it's just manual allocation, which is why we removed it in favor of aligning the permission sets. Welcome. Caitlin?
For the extra language file kind of additions for the membership hold module, does that will that kind of be automatically added to our sandbox language files when you guys push those packages in, or do we have to kind of go in and find and add it to our language files after the fact?
We'll put default text in that's pretty generic. And then if you want to update it, you obviously can. Also happy to just send you what the current ones are and we can put it in ahead of time if you know there's something specific you're after.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. This is very exciting. Very exciting updates.
We'll never leave your language file broken in Prod. There'll always be some sort of default text. But yeah, if there's something specific you're after, happy to have that conversation and send them your way.
Awesome.
Perfect. Anyone else?
Excellent. Guess we could start the recording.
Yeah.